What cheer, y'all? Welcome back to Right at the Wire. Well, I want to wish you all a safe and happy Thanksgiving. And we've got a couple of stakes races at Churchill Downs on Thursday, as well as Friday and Saturday. So it's a great weekend at Twin Spires for racing. I include the Clark Handicap on Friday. That's always one of my favorite days. But today we're going to talk about the Falls City. It's a grade 3, 10th race on the card, running a mile and an eighth for 3-year-olds and up, fillies and mares. And this is an interesting race. And, harken back to, I've mentioned it it's probably ad nauseum, but this Churchill Downs meet is a time when you can really get some good value and you can play against favorites because it's not necessarily a race the trainers point to, the bigger high profile ones, that is. So a lot of times horses that they run are a little on the vulnerable side because they're trying to tweak, figure out what's wrong, maybe gear them up for something later like the Pegasus and then the other thing, of course, if you see them running horses in claiming races, well, that's a fire sale and they're ready to unload them. So those are ones you want to stay away from and you can find prices and beat them. And so it's always something to think about when you look at stakes races in particular at the Churchill Downs fall meet. So the Falls City, you look here. Now, the race shape is, there's no confirmed front runner, and that certainly is to the advantage of Alpine Princess and Royal Spa, as well as Standout Sensation, I think. Chilled will probably go to the lead, has no chance in this race, not a stakes performer. So that would leave Alpine Princess, who is coming off a layoff. It has been in good form for Brad Cox, and you get Arad Ortiz aboard. And the more important thing is, aside from having should be in a very good position tactically, she's in good form, and that's the linchpin to me in this race. You're looking for those horses in good form, and we'll talk about some of the others. But I like Alpine Princess because of her position, her form, and it's firing fresh. I think it's a good spot, so we're going to go with Alpine Princess, and we like the price at 4-1. Now, to talk about the chalk, and we'll get to that, right now because it's. You'll notice, I'm not going to use the top two horses in this race. I'm going to tell you why. Regaled is the favorite at 5-2. Well, Regaled has been on a nice, steady progression, which you always love to see from Whit Beckman, who's having a good meet. And it culminated with a really nice Breeders' Cup Distaff, where she got a very good third and her fourth consecutive Brisnet figure high. But as we know, it's always a good thing to get horses coming out of the Breeders' Cup in their next race, because there's a denouement that's logical, right? Because they're pointed to the Breeders' Cup. And I think Regaled is probably a horse here who is, coming off a peak effort and probably not going to run back to that. And it doesn't really have pace or much of a setup for her run from off the pace. So rather than mess around with her at all, I'm just going to throw her out. Same thing with Raging Sea. Now, Raging Sea hasn't run since August, and you can kind of tell why. If you look back at her last 4 races, from that 104 peak Brisnet number, she's been in decline ever since and has been getting progressively worse. Now, Chad Brown's an excellent trainer. If there was anything wrong with a graded stakes winner like Raging Sea, you can bet that he would have found it. You got to wonder if this horse declining like she is, sometimes with fillies and mares, they get to a point in their career where they just don't feel like it anymore. And you have to wonder if maybe that's the case with Raging Sea. Now, it would be, it's a big surprise to me that Raging Sea is running here. But I think, again, it's an instance where Chad Brown's trying to figure out what's wrong, maybe give her another shot, see if in a softer field, and see if he can get her back on track. The tab looks okay. I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about the desire of Raging Sea to run a good race. To me, there's enough risk involved in picking Raging Sea that I'm not even going to bother. So I'm going to throw her out completely. So that's what we're going to do with the chalk. This is the kind of race I think we can comfortably do it. And, they'll beat me, they beat me. It's just one race, but we're going to take a chance and hopefully we'll get rewarded for it with some good ROI. Royal Spa is fine. I wouldn't poke any holes in Royal Spa except for one thing. I just not sure that a mile and an eighth is what she wants. That's it. Other than that, I think she's fine and she can win this race potentially, and we would be probably my third choice. So Royal Spa we will liberally use because she's in good form and excuse me. And again, that's the name of the game in this instance. I think Standout Sensation has really been a much better horse at 4 than she was at 3. Tom Amoss is having an excellent meet, and it's a really bright spot I think to see Jose Ortiz come off. I believe it was Quiet Side, I'm not sure, to go to Standout Sensation. This is a horse who's progressing nicely for a trainer who's doing well, and I think is third off the layoff, which is always a great spot. This is a step up in class without a doubt, but again, because you've got some vulnerability on the more prominent horses, it's not quite as big a step up in class. So this might be a sneaky good spot for Standout Sensation to maybe steal a graded stakes. I like Standout Sensation here. It's my second choice. 8-1, you're getting an excellent price. So we will definitely use. Now, we'll talk about a couple others. Quiet Side, I just don't really think wants a mile and an eighth. That's my thought more than anything else. But the Raven Run, she did not run a lick in that race, but she had the pattern that tells you she was probably in really good shape, having been off for a while, and because she was a little keen early and then dropped right back. And when you see that pattern, I mentioned it before in my post, that tells you that the next start, the horse is in really good shape and is going to run well. Now, I don't think Quiet Side has shown that she can handle a mile and an eighth at this level. The Oaks was more, I think, about a wet track than it was necessarily about the distance. I don't know. But I just don't think Quiet Side's a mile and an eighth horse. That's just really my thought more than anything else. And it's a 3-year-old running against saltier horses. But I think at 15-1, she offers some nice value, and I would throw her in the mix underneath. Same to be said for Corningstone. Corningstone's not a graded stakes horse. She is a ungraded stakes and allowance horse. But she always seems to run her race, and given the vulnerability of some of the other more prominent horses, I think Corningstone at 20-1 offers some really good value to fill out the bottom of your trifecta. So we're definitely going to use Corningstone. So we look at our wagering strategy. Alpine Princess is our pick to win it. We're going to go 4-8-8-4 with Standout Sensation. Then we'll do a key box with 4 Alpine Princess on top with Royal Spa and Standout Sensation. And so those are our top 3, and we'll deliberately use. The trifecta, we're going to go 4 on top with 7-8-7-8, then 7-8 with 4 with 7-8, and then 4 with 7-8 with our 2 trifecta third place horses, Quiet Side and Corningstone, 5 and 9. So we're going to take it, we're going to gamble here. And I think this is the kind of meet where, it's happened more than one time where you catch these favorites a little vulnerable for one reason or another, and you can really capitalize on it. So we're going to try to do it in the Falls City. Hope our analysis helps you with your own wagering strategy, and I wish you the best of luck as always. And certainly if you do like content like this, please like and subscribe. And thanks to all of you who continue to support us. It's been a great year so far. We've still got plenty of racing left. Friday, we've got the Clark Handicap at Churchill Downs. It's always one of my favorite days of racing on Black Friday. And we've got more on at Churchill Downs on Saturday. So plenty of great racing for the rest of this week. We've got the Cigar Mile in the Remsen at Aqueduct next week, as well as the Malibu later in the year for Santa Anita when they open. So plenty of good racing coming up, and we'll be on top of all of it, and moving right into the Pegasus World Cup in January at Gulfstream. So and the Derby Trail. So we'll be on top of all of it. Keep it right here, and we'll have plenty of posts for you with regards to all the major events in horse racing. That's it from here. I'll talk to you soon, and until then, be well.